What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another new Comic Book Day Top 10 list. I hope you guys all had a fantastic holiday and had a good time hanging out with your family. In today's episode, I'm going to be ranking and reviewing all the books I picked up for January 4th, 2023's new Comic Book Day. This one's definitely going to be a little bit different. I've got a lot of different publishers to go over. I've got books to talk about today from AWA, Aftershock, Image Boom Studios, and Marvel Comics. I'm really excited to go over these books with you guys, and as always, as I begin to talk about them, just be aware that there's definitely going to be spoilers. But to give you a heads up, I put a spoiler tag down below in the corner to let you know that spoiler is about to happen. And now, without further ado, let's jump right into this week's top 10 list. All right, here we go, folks. Kicking this top 10 list off first, we've got coming in at number 10. This is Marvel's new one. We've got Scarlet Witch, issue number 1. This is a variant cover. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I thought this first issue was an absolute stinker and definitely a letdown. It was a very last-second pickup to me. I haven't really read anything with Scarlet Witch in quite some time, and I mean, they're doing a great job with her in the MCU, in my opinion, so I thought to myself, why not give it a try? This first issue, to me, didn't really have a lot of action. I thought the story itself was extremely boring, and I mean, the whole action side of things really isn't a big drawback to me by not having that much of it. If it's a nice, well-told story that leaves me wanting more, I'm definitely going to keep coming back to it, because if you've been following my channel for a while, you know I'm a huge indie fan. I just love a nice story, and to me, this just wasn't it. Wanda is trying to get over all the things that she's done in her past and wants to start fresh. She creates something called the Last Door, which allows people who are at their lowest, pretty much out of options and don't know what to do next with their life, to walk through that door and get the help that they need. A good chunk of the issue was spent with Wanda talking with her brother Pietro and Darcy, which reminds me, is this the first time that she's ever been in a comic? I'm not sure off the top of my head. But then the actual issue itself was someone walking through the door needing help. Her town was taken over by someone named the Corruptor. We get a backstory, and then Wanda is off to save the day. We did get left on a nice cliffhanger setting up the next issue, but in my honest opinion, I think this first issue was very skippable. I don't think they executed the plot or any of the story very well. The artwork was nice. In my opinion, the best part of the issue was probably the cliffhanger, because it finally gives us a sense of direction as to where the series is going to be going, but not good enough for me to want to continue on with it. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 10 this week, we've got Marvel's new one, Scarlet Witch, issue number 1. Next up, we've got coming in at number 9, this is Marvel's new one, we've got Joe Fixit, issue number 1, this is cover A. I was really excited for this issue. Peter David is back on the Hulk, and I've been fiending for a good Hulk series. I know this is Joe Fixit, it's not actually the Hulk, but I really don't like that Donny Cates series at all. But as soon as I started reading this, I thought to myself, I don't know about this one. They gave a brief introduction of who Joe Fixit is for fans who may not have heard of him before, and we quickly learned that this first issue didn't really primarily focus on Joe Fixit. Peter Parker narrates the first few pages, and then Wilson Fisk shows up as well. Based on the first issue, you'd think Fisk was actually the main character of this, but then Spider-Man runs into Fisk, and instead of him heading back to New York City, he decides to put a tracker on him to see what he's up to. The rest of the issue is a meeting between Fisk and a Mr. Berengetti. Fixit makes an appearance, and it turns into a showdown between the two Goliaths. Overall, though, I mean, I thought it was an alright issue, and that's probably the best way to describe it. Artwork was alright, storytelling was alright. As far as modern Marvel goes, I don't really have a lot of expectations for most of these series. Some of them I have a little bit higher expectations for. I mean, Peter David was on this one. I hoped for it to be a little bit better, but like I said, most of modern Marvel, I'm just not really feeling a lot of it. I want to hear your opinions on this one down below, and for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 9 this week, we've got Marvel's new one, Joe Fixit, issue number 1. Next up this week, we've got coming in at number 8, this is Images, Radiant Pink, issue number 2, this is cover A. I was really hyped up for this one. If you guys have been following this channel for a while, you know I'm a big fan of Radiant Black, mainly more the tie-in series. I think the Radiant Red stuff was great, the little one-shot issue they did with the Radiant Yellow character, phenomenal stuff. Radiant Pink came out. I thought the first issue was very well done too, but once we started moving into the plot a little bit more for the second issue, I'm not completely sold on it just yet. This issue picks up where the last one left off, with Eva and Kelly going through the portal. A lot of the issue is honestly spent with them jumping through the other portals, just trying to figure out how to get home. They don't spend a lot of time in between the jumping to the next destination, so you don't really get to see a lot of the planets or the realms that they're on, but a good chunk of the actual issue is just them growing their relationship, and you can see the tension growing between them. Eventually, they make it to a pixelated planet with a giant cat spaceship, and we get a little bit of action from there. So to me, this issue didn't really do a good job setting up any sort of plot line other than showing that our two main characters have feelings towards each other. I mean, even towards the end of the issue, they had a little text bubble that just said, "Next, world's worst love story," and I thought to myself, hey, at least you're giving me a heads up as to what I'm going to be getting into with this one, because as of now, this is my least favorite Radiant series. I know it's only 2 issues deep, but I wish it was just a little bit more like the Radiant Red series. I thought that one was fantastic. They did a great job with that character and just the overall storytelling. I am going to be continuing on with this one though, but I just wish they wouldn't go towards the love side of things. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 8 this week, we've got Images, Radiant Pink, issue number 2. And now we've got coming in at number 7 this week. This is Images, Stillwater, issue number 17. This is cover A. This was a crazy issue. And I mean, they've been building up to this for quite some time now. If you can recall from the last one, we got the origin of how Stillwater was formed. And now this one, it is an all-out war. The town of Coldwater is taking a stand, and they don't want to end up being like the people of Stillwater. Residents are rioting in the streets, but this issue has a lot of different moving parts to it. While the residents are rioting, trying to get their freedoms back, our main group is trying to convince the town to get rid of Gallon. And on top of that, Coldwater is trying to save their kids by getting them out of town. So yeah, there's a lot going on in this one. It didn't feel like much of the story was progressed, but I really liked the interactions between all the different characters and groups in this one. This was not a bad issue by any means, and I thought personally it was a fantastic follow-up to getting the origin story of Stillwater and how it all happened. It was pretty much complete action, but at the same time, we still had a lot of different stuff going on that developed the story just a little bit more. I feel as though at this point, the story has to be winding down. I don't know how many issues are left. If you guys do know, let me know down below in the comments section. But like I said, overall, I thought this was a great issue. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 7 this week, we've got Images, Stillwater, issue number 17. Next up this week, folks, we've got coming in at number 6. This is Boom Studios. The Approach, issue number 3. This is cover A. I think they're doing a good job with the story so far, and I'm honestly really enjoying it. I don't think there's a lot of people reading this one because I don't hear tons of people talking about it, but they're doing a killer job on it. Now, if you haven't already started the series, I will give you a heads up. There's basically no plot in this one. It's almost completely non-existent. We've got a monster, and we've got a bunch of people who are trying to hunt down this monster and survive at the same time. That's really it. But what I will say about it, because I know what you're thinking, you're like, AR, you just got done talking about some of those other issues that you said the story was boring or it really lacked a story, so you didn't like it. What they make up in this one for the lack of a story is just the tension that they're building. There's so much suspense in this one, and the characters are just on edge the entire time trying to find this monster. And every time I flip the page, I'm like, all right, is the monster going to pop up? What's going on right now? And this issue was just like the other ones. Our main character spent the entirety of the issue just looking for the monster. The writer does a really good job building up the suspense, like I just got done saying, of the monster, and the artist absolutely delivers. We don't learn anything new about the monster in this issue, except I don't know if it's just me, but was the monster growing every time that it got a kill? Other than that, not much going on with this series story-wise, just a very suspenseful monster story. We did get left on a cliffhanger though, and it kind of does lead us into a little bit more of a plot. Now, I've talked about this one before. One of the main reasons that I truly enjoy this story is because it reminds me of the movie The Thing. It's dark, it's snowy, there's a monster on the loose, and it's killing the survivors one by one. I am absolutely about it. They're doing a phenomenal job just building up the suspense in this one, and I'm excited to see where they go with it. Now, I don't know if this was just my issue, but there's a couple pages in this book that had repeat pages. Once you flipped it, it was the same exact page. Like I said, I don't know if that was just my copy, but definitely check this one out. It's been a fantastic read so far, and for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 6, we've got Boom Studios' The Approach, issue number 3. All right, everyone, down to the top 5 issues of the week. So coming in at number 5, we've got Images, Nita Hawes' Nightmare Blog, issue number 11. This is cover A. I absolutely love this series. They are doing a killer job on it. The pacing, the storytelling, the artwork, and the action, it is all top notch. And I keep hyping it up to everybody, especially if you're reading this series and not reading Philadelphia. You definitely need to change that up. Grab some of those trade paperbacks because they're starting to make some more connections between both series. Not 100% just yet, but we're starting to see Anansi a lot more in both of them. If you can recall from Philadelphia, he's starting to gather all the gods for his big war. And I'm just thinking that it's going to start bleeding into this series as well. This series has a lot of wild stuff going on with it recently. Nita's gone to hell, dealt with a bunch of different demons, so this issue was a bit on the slower side, not a bad thing by any means though. She just got back from hell and she's trying to figure out how to deal with everything that just happened while she's still looking for the hooded killer. I really like this issue because we got to see Nita talking with the detective and Anansi trying to figure out their next steps. She thinks she knows how to find this hooded killer, but on top of that, the killer is looking for Nita as well. Overall, I truly think this is a top-notch series, and I think they do an incredible job balancing the pacing of this one. We get a lot of plot-driven issues, but at the same time, we need those, because not only do we get a deeper dive into the story itself, but we get to see a lot of the emotional sides of these characters, and they're just nailing it home on all of them, I feel. I want to hear your opinions on this one down below, and for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 5 this week, we've got Images, Nita Hawes' Nightmare Blog, issue number 11. Next up on my list this week, we've got coming in at number 4, this is Images, Scotch McTiernan's Holiday Party. This is pretty much just a one-shot special. They did do a 420 issue, and they also did a Halloween one as well, and at the very end of that, it said gear up because he's going to be back for a holiday special. Here we are. Scotch McTiernan is back. This is just a stupidly good issue that's just very wacky and silly. I love the storytelling in it though, and the artwork is so top notch. Scotch McTiernan's playing the role of the Ghost of Christmas Future in this issue, and him and his buddy Weed Thing team up to show someone how they basically ruined the world, how he screwed up the past and how all of his creations destroyed the future. This is a very fun read with a ton of action and great storytelling. It is 100% on the adult side though, so just be aware of that going into it. The whole purpose of this little Christmas haunting is to convince that guy that even though the past is ruined, he can still change his ways for the future. So now I didn't read the 420 issue, but I did read the Halloween special. So I'd say between the two that I did read, the holiday special is a superior between them both, but the Halloween one is still extremely good. This is an oversized issue that still has a $3.99 price tag that has a fantastic beginning, middle, and end, so there's no reason you shouldn't be picking this one up, especially if you had a little bit lighter of a week. But for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 4 this week, we've got Images, Scotch McTiernan's Holiday Special, issue number 1. Next up this week, we've got coming in at number 3. This is AWA's brand new one. We've got Trojan, issue number 1. This is cover A. What a fantastic first issue. This one was an incredibly well-told story that had me focused until the big reveal at the very end. At this point, does AWA even make a bad comic book? Everything that they come out with is just banger after banger, and this one is going to be no different. We get introduced to Nessa, and she definitely doesn't belong in the streets that she's currently on, but she needs some sort of help. She has a planned encounter with a homeless guy, and we learn his name is Dirk, but we find out that Dirk can navigate the dark web. Nessa's motives are still unclear, and we don't know exactly what she wants, but she needs his help, and things escalate very quickly. And that is all I'm leaving you with for this first issue. The buildup of the story just had me turning the pages wanting more, and when we finally get the big reveal at the very end, I was like, wow, let me get the next issue right away. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 3 this week, we've got AWA's brand new one, Trojan, issue number 1. Next up this week, we've got coming in at number 2, this is Aftershocks, Astronaut Down, issue number 5. This is cover A, and for those of you reading this one, this is the final issue of the series. I was stunned to see Aftershocks books at my LCS this week. I totally did not expect to get a series finale for this one, and I am so happy that we did. Everything that they've been building up to has led to this moment. Douglas has a tough decision to make. Does he stay in this world and create a life with Maddie, or does he go back and attempt to save his original world knowing he might not even make it? This issue truly had a little bit of everything, and it was well worth the wait. Overall, I think the series had a great ending to an already fantastic story. In my opinion, the artwork and the writing were extremely well done. The plot was very well developed, and they also gave an insight to the characters as well. Definitely one of my favorite series from Aftershock. Definitely check it out if you haven't already done so. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 2 this week, we've got Aftershocks, Astronaut Down, issue number 5. Here we go, everyone. This is it, my number 1 read of the week. We've got coming in at number 1 this week. This is a Blaze's brand new series, Children of the Black Sun, issue number 1. This is the Something is Killing the Children homage cover. Usually, I'm not one for homages, but man, one of my favorite series is Something is Killing the Children. I absolutely had to grab this one. This series, I was really looking forward to it, but this was way better than I thought it was going to be. The artwork, not the greatest artwork, not bad by any means, but as far as a first issue goes, the development of the plot really left me wanting more. So over the course of 30 years, a black sun rose and caused the world to go crazy for the day. People fell to their darkest and lowly desires. Society was committing crimes and killing each other, all because of the power the black sun had over them. Well, the black sun went down and the regular sun came up, and everyone thought their problems were over. But all of the women who were impregnated during the black sun gave birth to kids that had irregular characteristics. They have pale skin and red eyes, but everything else about them seems normal. Those kids don't get treated well, and everyone thinks they're monsters. However, we learn that there is something different about these kids, and soon everyone will learn the truth. Folks, I'm not playing. As far as the first issue goes, they laid all of the groundwork for where the story was going to be going, and I am so excited for it. I need to know your opinions on this one down below. I don't want to get too much more in depth with it. Let's talk about it. And for those reasons, we have absolutely coming in at number 1 this week. This is a Blaze's brand new series, Children of the Black Sun, issue number 1. And that's a wrap on this week's top 10 list of books, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to let me know down below what your top read of the week was and which ones you think I missed out on. And thanks for watching, everyone. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you don't want to miss out on any of my upcoming content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below with notifications turned on. You won't regret it. Now, I've got 2 more sitting off to the side here with more of my comic book content. Click on one of those, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.